Hello and welcome to Tuesday's English. Which poems did you enjoy from yesterday? Which one did you choose to perform to your family? I wonder. Let's share the screen and we can find out what we're doing today. Okay, so it is Tuesday and we are going to be continuing with our poetry. So I found a poet called Roger McGough, and I found him talking about how he finds ideas for his poems. So I thought it'd be a good idea if we watched a poet talk about how he finds ideas.
I always wonder why I began writing poetry, really. Because I wasn't particularly interested in poetry at school. It was something that we had to do, but we didn't write poetry. I mean, other people wrote poetry. What I enjoyed at school was reading out poetry, reading out poems, and poems as like theatre, really, and doing choral verse and that sort of thing. I never thought I could ever write a poem. But then I suppose what happened was I got interested in the words, in the language. And for instance, I'd be thinking of the word an alligator. An alligator, what's an alligator? Sounds like elevator, escalator, elevator. So I can imagine then in my mind's eye an alligator on an elevator or an escalator going up in an escalator in a shop. So imagine these fierce elevators. So as the beginning of a poem. And then you think, that's a funny idea. And you think of an anaconda on a Honda, or the word otter. That's a funny word, otter, right? Rotter, a lot of otters. And that leads to writing a poem. So you develop it. So I was never sort of wanting to write stories on, even though I've written stories. I was more interested in just the words themselves and the language, what it leads to in the next thing. And so I always carried a notebook around me, and I didn't start writing until I was 19 or 20. I wasn't writing poems at school, or wasn't a very particularly bright child, intellectual or anything. I just write stories, I like hearing stories, but I was lazy. Good, I was lazy. But probably quite imaginative, and if ever I'd probably try to be clever, give the clever answer rather than the right answer, which you're not supposed to do. School, don't do that. So I always have a little piece of paper with me and scribble and draw, and my books are all full of little drawings and illustration, little notes, little things. At the back of a book will be little face chiseled out of ash. Lots of things, nothing at all. Don't mean anything, but you write them down and get in the habit of writing things down, and then later on possibly the thing may develop. I always write in, not always in pencil, but in pen, and I always write on paper. Then eventually, when I think there's a poem there, I'll then go to the computer and put it into the computer. I don't like doing that too early on the PC because it looks like a published poem. It looks like it's printed. It looks like, oh, it's good. Why change it? Because I'm older and not used to computers anyway, and word processing, and I can't type and others. But it doesn't matter for poetry. I'm not writing War and Peace, you know. Well, having said that, I might. But so poems are good because they're short and lots of crossings out. That's the best thing about poetry. It's the crossings out. And I always keep the crossings out because that may be the next poem.
So it's quite interesting watching how a poet comes up with ideas for their poems, what triggers it and what is exciting. So we are going to be today thinking about interesting words. We're going to collect interesting words. So we're going to think about the different ingredients in sweets and chocolate today. So I've got a picture here of some chocolates, maybe from a box of chocolates, and I've got a big selection of different sweets. I'd like to think about the ingredients that go into them. So for this box of chocolates, for example, well, you've got milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate. Maybe you've got some fudge. Now I know that fudge is made with butter and sugar. Do you remember when we saw the factory where they were pouring in all the ingredients into those big bowls? That's what I want you to think about. All those different ingredients, things like flavors, centers. When I was looking at your DT and you had all sorts of different things, maybe some popping candy, some crispy bits and biscuits. Do the same for the sweets as well. So think about sugar and syrup and flavourings. Grab yourself a pencil and a piece of paper and pause the video here as you just try and brainstorm as many different ideas as you can about ingredients that go into chocolates and sweets. Pause now. Okay, welcome back. What did you come up with? Well, I had a little go at this. And so I thought about, for this one, I thought the chocolate, I thought, well, it was chocolate and cream. And then I thought about caramel, and that's made with butter and sugar and the cream. I thought about orange, maybe some nuts, popping candy, crispy pieces, fudge. I'm sure you thought of a lot more than I did. And then over here, with the sweets, I thought of sugar and syrup, jelly, and I was thinking about coating. I was thinking about like M&Ms and Smarties that have that sugar coating. I thought about fizzy sugar, colouring, strawberry and mint. Those are two flavours that popped into my head. I was thinking about those mint candy canes, and some of those strawberry laces made me think of strawberry as a flavour. So what do I want you to do with all of these things that you have collected? Well, I would like you to start adding some adjectives to them. So instead of just syrup, we could have sticky sweet syrup. Instead of just caramel, we could have chewy gooey caramels. Sounds like Roger McGough playing with his words, doesn't it? We could have cream, but instead of just cream, it's going to be fluffy whipped cream. Instead of just butter, creamy, salty butter. Jelly could be bouncy and transparent. The chocolate, thinking about the chocolate river going along in Willy Wonka's factory, smooth and warm. And thinking about those sweets, we've got vibrant sugar coating. So we're adding describing words to describe each one of those things that you thought of for your ingredients. So your task for the day, you might want to add a little bit more to your word collection. You've already started it earlier in the lesson, but have a little go with your word collection, add more words, more ingredients into that you could have in your chocolate and sweets. Then I would like you to add those adjectives, those double adjectives to describe it. Now, how many do I want you to do? Well, it's up to you, as many as you would like today. Remember to keep hold of the piece of paper because you're going to need it tomorrow. So don't grab it, think, oh, I'm done with that, and get rid of it. You're going to need it tomorrow. So double adjectives to describe all those ingredients. Have a go. Good luck.